Okay. I tried doing this with my face, but I could not get it work for the life of me. Um, I'm sorry. So I'm Hunter Thompson. I worked on the contrast between heavy timber and steel and concrete construction. Um, so I'll begin with the strength and the stability. So steel has been around for a while, which means that a lot of data has gone into it, which means a lot of it is very predictable. The type of steel you use, the amount of rocks in your concrete, whatever, it's all very predictable and all very well known. In the contrast, heavy timber is not. So a lot of its properties are kind of unknown, but what makes it even harder is that there are different species of woods, different types of woods, the way it's cut. There's a whole bunch of things that go into concrete, timber, and why and how it's hard to determine its strength and stability. Timber is very good at tensile strength. Concrete is very rigid and doesn't kind of contort or mold when stress is applied to it. Concrete and steel can be reused when destroyed, which is very useful. Steel is ductile, which means it can bend a lot before it fails. All this stuff. The durability. So something that was on the previous slide, but I didn't mention because it's also mentioned here, is that heavy timber, a lot of it will char instead of burn, which means that the structure will stay up even if there's a fire. I mean, obviously, if the fire is bad enough, then, it can't, but it will char instead of burn, unlike some materials. Again, this all depends on the species of the wood. And I said this before as well, but steel can be fit for reuse after 100 years within a structure, which is very useful. And it can withstand UV rays, weathering, water, you name it. Wood, on the other hand, is very susceptible to water damage, which goes into the next point, the maintenance. So with heavy timber or wood, a lot of maintenance needs to go into it to protect the wood from termites. You need to treat it. You can put sealants on the wood to help prevent water damage or UV damage. Yes. There needs to be routine inspection. A lot more inspection and often inspection needs to go into heavy timber structures opposed to steel and concrete structures, just because a lot more can go wrong with heavy timber structures, because termites could get in it. There could be water damage. However, steel and concrete structures are pretty sturdy, and just every so often they need to be inspected. Another thing is repairing wood structures is pretty difficult. Same thing with concrete, it's pretty difficult. However, with steel, it can kind of be soldered together, or however, and which is pretty cheap, opposed to having to repair wood. So a big reason why people are recently getting into heavy timber structures is the environmental impact. As you can see here, our steel and concrete infrastructure makes up all of the production, and everything makes up about 10% of our greenhouse gases as humans, which is a lot. I mean, for example, you have to have some sort of way to collect rocks for concrete, then you have to create the powder for it, then you have to mix it, and then you have to transport it, and then you have to pour it. And that, a lot of work, and infrastructure and gasoline and fuel has to go into all that. While with heavy timber, I mean, same thing with steel, you have to collect iron and all these non-renewable resources. However, with heavy timber, you can cut down trees and replant them, which is a renewable resource, which is a big reason why people are wanting to kind of switch to heavy timber. Another big thing is the aesthetics. If, let's say, you're making an office building using heavy timber and it looks, I mean, not exactly like this picture, but something close to it, your employees are probably going to have more of a drive to do better work because they're working in a very beautiful environment. This is a pretty subjective thing, but steel and concrete is very drab and kind of brutalist, and almost sterile, which is kind of soul draining, while heavy timber kind of provides this kind of connect to nature, which is what a lot of people are trying to do in recent years, and that's why this is a very new thing. It's earliest article I found was maybe early 2000s to 2010s, so it's a very new thing. Wood is very malleable, so you can kind of carve into it, and artists can make like the rafters in this picture look very beautiful and very appealing to the eye, while maintaining structural integrity. There's also different types of woods, different colors, different grains, different cuts, you name it, there's something out there. So that's a big reason why people are going into heavy timber or trying to switch to heavy timber, even though a lot of infrastructure is built around steel and concrete, and it is a bit stronger. Heavy timber is more attractive to look at and environmentally neutral. So thank you.